This video is sponsored by NordVPN. The year is 2024, and Sony is about to release the Kraken, a project they'd had in the works for almost a decade, and with a reported budget of up to $400 million. By far their most expensive game yet. Nothing could go wrong. The year is 2016. Overwatch has just come out, and it's making the rounds everywhere. It's very popular. It's the first AAA shooter since TF2 almost a decade ago, and it's good. Amazing gameplay and map design, well-designed characters with a ton of personality, and a decent cosmetic system. Around the same time, an exodus at Bungie, and ex-Bungie developers coalesce to form what would become Firewalk Studios. Initial meetings are held on their first project. You guys seen that Overwatch thing? Yeah? Let's do that. And they get to work. Fast forward to 2021. Now at this point in time, Sony's gaming department is headed by a man named Jim Ryan. He and the boys at Sony look around. The gaming landscape had changed. Gone were the days where you just made a game and sold it. Fortnite was now here, and if you weren't selling stolen dance moves and Peter Griffin skins through recurrent battle passes, you were losing. They look at their own games. Uncharted, The Last of Us, God of War, Spider-Man. Some great stuff. One problem, not one of them was live service, and therefore wasn't printing buckets of cash for Jim and the boys. So Ryan makes a decision. PlayStation is gonna kick the doors down, burst into this market head first. But first, time to go shopping. And Herman Hulst, head of PlayStation Studios, starts looking for a few developers they could swipe up to help make that happen. It's around this time that Sony gets word of Firewalk, and they like what they hear. A studio made up of industry vets with a ton of talent. Ex-Battlefield devs, ex-Destiny devs, and ex-Halo devs. The studio's creative lead was even the creative director on Destiny 2. Their mission statement? To craft incredible multiplayer experiences that bring people together and inspire unforgettable and unexpected shared moments. Wow. They'd even started work on their first game, a hero shooter set in an original sci-fi universe called Concord. Sounds promising. So Sony is interested. They ask for a sneak peek of the game, and what they see amazes them. What Firewalk is making is so innovative, so impressive. They want in immediately. They'd seen the success of Overwatch and Valorant. This hero shooter genre is an absolute cash cow, and now it was Sony's turn. April 2021, and a deal is struck. Some cash on the table from Sony, and Firewalk's hero shooter would come out as a first-party exclusive for the PlayStation 5 and PC. Nice. Sony now had a taste of that sweet Bungie talent, and they wanted more. So in January 2022, they buy Bungie itself.
Consider it done.
A studio currently maintaining just one popular IP for $3.6 billion. What a steal. Sony was now set to release a ton of live service games. More than 10 before March 2026, they say.
You serious?
In early 2023, Sony checks up on Concord, and this thing is in rough shape.
Meow?
At this point, it's apparently still in alpha, and it's not looking great. Basic things like player onboarding and monetization haven't even been figured out yet. Worst bit? This is about 5 years into active development. Now Firewalk consists of around 150 staff. This is in Bellevue, Washington, which means exorbitant rent
Give me money.
and sizable wages.
Give me money.
5 years of this adds up, and by 2023, an apparent $200 million had already gone into the game. Also, the game is supposed to be launching within the next 18 months. But it's in such a rough state, they'd probably need to use a ton of outsourcing for that to happen. This can be very expensive on short notice. It's okay. Internally, Sony is calling this game the future of PlayStation. Executives are even calling it their Star Wars. And the head of PlayStation Studios is so confident, he decides to go all in. And Sony buys Firewalk for an estimated $100 million. Another steal. Now inside Firewalk Studios, and things are interesting. See, there's apparently a lead designer here who's decided she identifies as a professor, and she's demanding everyone at the studio call her that. don't play ball, and you're potentially out of a job. This is despite not actually having a degree to back that up. She's reportedly not very popular. There's also apparently an overall vibe of, quote, toxic positivity here. Bad ideas are not shot down, as that would be like, not cool. As a result, the decisions here, also interesting. See, they'd gotten a ton of money in backing from Sony. They could do anything. You know those cinematic Overwatch shorts? Let's do those, but every single week of the year at huge expense to ourselves. Sounds good. And they blow a ton of that money on extremely expensive, motion-captured CGI cinematics. Because if this online-only multiplayer shooter needed anything, it was a storyline. Onto the characters. A few years ago, a movie had come out called Guardians of the Galaxy. A few people at Firewalk had seen it. Nice, let's just do that. And the artists get to work. And after a few years, they'd drawn up some decent concept art for characters. But midway through development, a change of heart. Now, we're making a hero shooter here, and the market is becoming increasingly saturated. We have to do something different, stick out from the crowd. Let's make the characters look absolutely horrific. Maybe that's not such a good idea. No, don't disagree. Haven't you read the sign? And so, the brilliant ideas keep rolling. Cool concept, but let's give her some Walmart power armor and make her absolutely enormous. That walking trash can needs a pronoun. Make her 73 years old. This one should be humongous. Him, he needs some American football pads and a Turtle Beach headset. Horrible color coordination across the board. And remember, we're designing aliens here. We could get creative. But for now, let's just take a man and paint him green. Perfect. Now that the designs were top notch, let's slap a $40 price tag on, in a market where almost all of our better, more established competitors are free to play. And we're done. In May 2023, it's the big PlayStation showcase, and they reveal the game for the first time. And we see an empty spaceship with a jacket in a locker. Right, cool. Was this a single-player campaign? A co-op looter shooter? Multiplayer FPS? Who knows? But behind the scenes, Sony are still going all in. See, Blur Studios, the people behind Love, Death and Robots, are making a new anthology series on Amazon. Each episode is based on a different game. And turns out, Sony is so confident in their new IP that they'd managed to get one of these episodes to be on Concord. There's also now Concord controllers. Fast forward to May 2024, and at PlayStation's State of Play stream, we see more. This time, an actual gameplay reveal trailer. And the gameplay is actually revealed.
Here's the very first look at the gameplay of Concord.
Turns out, it's just a 5v5 hero shooter with Guardians of the Galaxy on top. This is alongside a cinematic reveal, where we finally see the characters that they'd put so much money and effort into. The reaction is not great. They tell us they'd gone in on the storytelling. However, the personality of characters amounts to this guy just like really liking hot sauce. Marvel writing is also quite prevalent.
He's right behind me, isn't he?
But they assure us the lore is deep, rich, we'll want to get stuck in. They'd even spent a ton of money on bringing out new high-quality narrative cutscenes every week. But the thing is, no one actually cares about this because it's an online-only, multiplayer game. And wait, does that say pre-order? $40? In a market where virtually every competitor is free to play? Don't worry lads, this thing's worth it. There's also a pre-launch beta in July, and everyone's invited. But first, the internet is scary, filled with horrors. Navigation can be treacherous. Here, take this. See, your internet service provider can see everything you do. Depending on where you live, they can also sell all of that data to advertisers. And you didn't just join a public Wi-Fi, did you? See over there, that friendly looking old lady now has your search history, birth certificate, social security number, and several DNA samples. Not only that, Links containing malware exist all over the internet. You just clicked one? Fantastic. Now your laptop can make a lovely chopping board. But with NordVPN, security. See, NordVPN encrypts your internet connection at the source, meaning your data runs through a secure tunnel, shielding it from hackers. And NordVPN is the fastest VPN out there. Just click a country, and you're there. Nord also offers advanced threat protection, meaning you're safe from malware, phishing, scams, and other online threats. Also, 24/7 customer support, one account for up to 10 devices, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. And NordVPN has a fat discount and 4 months extra for free via this link. Just go to nordvpn.com/bigboss or use this easy-to-remember code. It's finally June, and doors open. They've even paid a bunch of streamers and YouTubers to be there. But there's a problem. No one's turning up.
Hello?
Everyone is now able to download the beta and play the game at no expense at all. But at this point, on PC, that's 2,388 people. For reference, Overwatch 2 had 1.5 million, Valorant around 3 million. These were both closed betas. The comments are over the moon. Despite all of that, reviews are coming in, and they're actually pretty good. But at Sony, issues. In February 2022, they'd said they were releasing more than 10 live service games before 2026, but by 2024, that number had dropped to 6. Concord was one of those 6. It needed to do well. The Last of Us 2 Online cancelled. Horizon's multiplayer projects, MIA. Deviation Games completely canned before they could even get a game out the door. Bungie, which Sony had blown almost $4 billion on, is also doing absolutely terrible, hitting almost 50% of their financial projections and actually losing money. With no more Destiny sequels or updates lined up, Sony needed another live service shooter, and they desperately needed a win. And judging by Concord's beta numbers, yeah, not good. They'd also apparently chugged through another $200 million, so that's around $400 million in development costs here. Right, what are we doing here, boys? Change the business model? Make the game free to play like every other hero shooter? No. The genre may be completely past its prime, massively oversaturated, and overwhelmingly free to play. But just look at these characters. A masterclass of design, bursting with personality. Fellas, there's no way people are passing this up. The $40 stays. And they gear up for the global launch in August, now just 2 months away. It's now August 23rd, and after 8 years and a reported $400 million, the game is out the door. It runs well, isn't buggy, the animations are decent, and the gameplay is actually good. Basically Destiny 2 if it was a hero shooter. There's an okay amount of content in here too. 16 characters, 12 maps, and 6 modes. 3 maps, modes, and characters would also be released down the line, alongside the extremely expensive weekly cutscenes that everyone just couldn't wait for. But then people boot up the menu, and what they see. Jesus.
Come on, let's go!
Mushroom Man, She-Hulk, the Michelin Man, a walking, talking he-him trash can, Walmart laser tag boy, and a very old woman. In fact, the only character not universally hated is the walking trash can.
I like this one.
Besides the characters, the game offers pretty much nothing new to the genre. The maps are bland, and subpar graphics and effects. This is compared to a 15-year-old PS3 game. The game started development just after Overwatch, and as a result, Concord just kind of feels like half a decade old. Also, like playing as a certain character? Well, unlucky, because in certain game modes, if you win a round as them, you can't play them again for the whole game. There's also a whole storyline and lore that they'd invested a massive amount of effort and money into. There's even this lore dump star map with loads of planets. But no one cares because the characters suck and it's a multiplayer game with no campaign. And finally, it's like the 5th best 5v5 shooter on the market, and it's $40 more than everything else. You also need a PSN subscription to play, and it's not even free on PS Plus. But the thing is, besides all of that, there's a major problem here. there's only 697 people playing the game. Almost 3,000 played the beta, meaning more than half of them had just ditched. The 7-year-old Friday the 13th is also getting 10 times the players. This is a game without dedicated servers. Concord is an online-only, competitive multiplayer FPS. That means it relies heavily on a big, healthy player base. And turns out, Sony had decided to stick a PSN account requirement on, blocking the game in 180 countries. Nice one. Most other big-budget AAA games also go on a media blitz before release. But Concord, not so much. Revealing the game just a couple of months before launch, a few paid streams here, some character videos there, and they called it a day. And by launch, somehow, no one had even heard of the game. Those that did saw that it cost $40 and presumably went to play literally any other game in the genre for a 100% discount. While the game got zero attention pre-launch, after launch, it's everywhere. The memes are plentiful. The characters are so hated.
Why would they give her Thugnificent's haircut?
People online start making their own, far better renditions. This designer even spends an hour breaking down how bad they are.
Before and after, it felt impossible to try to salvage these designs.
Also, the reviews are in. 20% recommended on OpenCritic, 1.7 out of 10 user reviews on Metacritic. Eurogamer calls it an arena shooter by ChatGPT. After a few days, it was clear. The game was underperforming. In fact, an article comes out claiming the game sold a grand total of around 25,000 copies. That's about $1 million. A whopping 0.25% return. Nice. The devs go ahead and take down the LGBT and political user tags from the Steam page, but this does little to aid the situation. Things are going abysmally, but Firehawk isn't done just yet. Turns out, people were complaining about the game online, so they boot up Twitter and start typing. The game was a labour of love. Criticize it, and you're a weird, talentless freak. But this doesn't go down well either. With the horrific player count, alongside the barrage of memes online, it was obvious. The game had to go free to play. There was no other option. But then, on the 3rd of September, Firewalk comes out with a statement. Gents, it's been fantastic. But despite the support and the passionate community that has grown around the game, we're pulling the plug. The game is going offline in 3 days' time, while we explore options to bring it back. They also offer refunds to every single person that bought the game, regardless of playtime. It's not just digital copies either. Sony is actually refunding every physical copy too, and now retailers aren't even letting people buy the game.
They wouldn't let me check out, even though they had this on the shelves and on the floor.
It's probably gonna be around for a year. No, it's not.
That was not the plan.
Technically, it was a plan, it just wasn't the same plan that we started with.
In mid-September, Concord's game director steps down, while some of the 150-odd developers at Firewalk try pitching Sony on other ideas. Some think they'll be used as a support studio, others fear a wave of layoffs, maybe even the whole studio being canned. Also, Concord's Amazon episode is staying in, and is due to air this December. But regardless, on the 6th of September, we bid farewell. 12 days after launch, and the servers go down worldwide. 8 years, an alleged $400 million. Gone in the blink of an eye. Yep, they shut down.